Hey, guess what? We might finish planting corn today. Dad's out here with the disc in this field. We didn't get it sprayed early enough, and as you can see, the weeds kind of took over. So we got a bunch of weeds. If we tried to work this with the field cultivator, they would just ball up and make little piles of weeds everywhere, and it wouldn't be a very good seed bed. So we thought we probably better disc this first. But we are down to our last about 110, 120 acres of corn. We got a 60 over by Dad's, 40 here, and there's like 15 acres down the road. And then we got those two little patches at the township that we plant, a little sweet corn patch for the town, and there's a couple acres that we just plant regular corn in. So there's a chance we could get done today. It's already about noon. We've been trying to get ground ready to get planted, so I don't know if we'll pull it off or not, but we're gonna be really close by the end of the day, that's for sure. It's Monday morning, May 10th, day after Mother's Day. We got a little bit of rain yesterday, probably a tenth at the most, but it was mostly just little sprinkles here and there, so it didn't really hurt much. We're still in pretty good shape. We were planting last week when a lot of farms were still kind of too wet, so our sandy soil's in pretty good shape. After we get all this corn planted, I would actually like to see a little shower, you know, half inch or an inch, that would be nice. So we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, change of plans. We're probably not gonna get done planting corn in this video, but Dad was saying this field's a little bit damp yet, and as you can see, it's pretty cloudy out. We need a little bit of sun in order to dry this field out, because otherwise it'll just kind of stick to the openers on the planter and it won't be real great for planting. But I think what we're gonna do is, we haven't planted any beans yet. We have a bunch of parts to get the planter ready, the bean planter ready. We're not real prepared to plant beans, so Dad's gonna finish disking this. He's gonna bring the disc over to Grandpa's. We're gonna hook that tractor up to the bean planter, and I might work on getting that ready while he plants that 60 over at his house. And this field down the road he could probably plant, but for now the plan is, it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. We'll run the field cultivator in this field tomorrow morning, let it dry out a little bit, finish planting corn tomorrow. So for those of you who are new to our channel, this is our bean planter. It used to be our corn and bean planter until we bought that Deere, but it's a Kinsey 1631 3600 model. It's got these pusher units on it so we can plant in 15-inch rows. It needs a little bit of work. We probably should have had this done already, but we started planting corn earlier than we thought. So we got a little bit of maintenance to do to this thing. Shouldn't take too long. It needs new chains on the front units, and I'll have to look through my box of parts. I can't remember what all it needs. I'll probably go through, spin all these closing wheels and all these gauge wheels, make sure the bearings are good in them, make sure they're not bent, pull all the corn stalks out of it from last year, and grease it up, and it should be ready to go. So the first thing I'm checking is all these seed firmers. This white piece is replaceable, and as you can see, this one here, the white piece fell off. So we ordered some replacements. You can actually see, if I can get up here, how much those are worn down. I mean, they've worn about a ½ inch off the bottom of them. If this was still gonna be the corn planter, we would probably replace all of them, but it's just beans, not as critical. So what I'm just doing is I'm going through, finding the ones that are missing and replacing this foot on them. That way, if you leave this the way it is, it'll drag seed up in piles. So we gotta get those fixed. I had one seed firmer that was bent, and we have an old Keaton laying around that will probably just stick on there for now because I can't really straighten it. It's plastic, so that's what I'm gonna do for now. Not sure if you can see very well, but these are pretty simple to put on. You just Let's see, they go this way. You just slide them on, there's a little groove. So you gotta clean the dirt out from under them with a screwdriver. That way they slide on easy. They actually make a tool for changing these, which we just ordered. We haven't got it in yet, but I found a way to do it without the tool for now. That works fairly decent for what we need to do. So you get that cleaned out, slide it on, pull it on as much as you can, and then what I do is I just, hopefully you can see this, push it up against the press wheel and take a hammer and just tap it on the rest of the way. As you can see, it still doesn't slide on very well, but we don't have that tool yet. So this one that I just put on, this is a Keaton style or Keaton brand seed firmer. These are the most common brand that people use. We switched to these are called Flow-Right. The reason, that one's really loose, but anyways, the reason why we switched to these is because they have that replaceable foot. This whole thing is $36, which is, so is the Keaton, or it's 35, 36, something like that. But this foot you can replace for $8. So when these wear out, you have to replace the whole thing. When these wear out, it costs you $8. The other reason is when we were running starter on this planter to plant corn, these injectors inject on the side of the seed trench, so you can run a higher rate in furrow and not burn the seed, whereas these Keatons, it's hard to tell, but they just drop it right straight down on the seed. So you're limited to how much starter you can run through a Keaton and not burn the seed. Planting beans, we don't use starter, so it doesn't really matter. We just want a seed firmer in there to get that good seed to soil contact. Well, Dad got done disking. He brought the 8400 over here. We got it hooked up to the bean planter. I'm gonna pull this thing outside and unfold it, and I'm gonna cut those front chains off. It's a lot easier just to cut them off with the grinder than try and find the master link and take them apart. So I'm gonna cut those off, get those chains swapped, and grease it, maybe clean it up a little bit. Last year was pretty hectic, so we never really got a chance to wash this thing. So I'm just gonna take some air, blow the dirt off the tongue, and clean it up just a little bit. Probably check the tires, and this thing should be ready to roll. This thing's so long when it's folded up, it's kind of hard to maneuver it around. And our shop is like 60 feet from the road, so you've got to kind of be careful. All right. Raise it up all the way. Rotate. So the frames on these Kinsey planters, if you can see that, they don't actually fold. They just raise up and twist and rotate on that center post. So it's 40 feet long plus the tongue going down the road. Drop it down. This one folds up a little bit different than our new John Deere. So I've got all the boxes off. I just have to replace the chains on the front rows. They're junk anyway, so got my handy dandy battery operated grinder here. I'll make quick work of it. Piece of cake. Now I gotta dig through my big fun box of parts and get the chains. So the new chains, they got them covered in some kind of grease for lubrication, so I always wear rubber gloves. I like clean hands. There's one. So this is my Grandpa Bob. Tell me about the first planter you remember growing up.
First planter was a John Deere 495.
How many rows?
4.
What'd you pull it with?
With the 530.
530. And did it have dry fertilizer on it?
Yes.
How many acres could you do in a day?
Oh, I don't know. We did about 60.
60 acres in a day. Not too many.
No.
And we can do probably 200 with this.
Yes.
And then what was the first planter you had when you were farming?
when I started farming,
Yeah.
I used a 495 for a couple years, and then I went to a International 58
Okay.
8-row furry
8-row. And you pulled that with what?
4010.
4010. Then you got the 4320 after that?
Yep.
And that was what, a 7,000 probably? Or no, probably not then.
No, the next planter I had was a 400 International.
Okay. So you had a couple red ones and then a deer?
Then I went to green.
Okay. I've done all I can to the bean planter. Hope you enjoyed that little bit from my grandpa. I always like asking him questions like that about, you know, what he remembers from farming growing up. I just think it's amazing how far we've come in not really that long of a time. So I like asking him questions like that. So hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, I got this planter. I've done as much as I can to it. The batteries are junk on the grease gun here, so I'm gonna have to get a grease gun from home. All we got left is check the tires, check the grease gun, check the tires, grease it, and we should be ready to plant beans. So I'm gonna pull this thing in the shed, go check on Dad, and see how he's coming along. We probably won't start planting beans today. It's already, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock, so I'll go check on him and see where we go from there. Well, we went and checked on Dad, and he's fine. He's just pulling out of that field. We're gonna go get the sprayer running. We're getting a load of chemical right now. And if you're wondering who's holding the camera, it's my lovely wife. I have a camera guy now. Camera gal.
Pretty good one, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, I did. Ah, son of a biscuit.
Start over.
What are we doing?
We just got back with our load of chemical, and we're gonna go fill the sprayer up and go spray.
Sounds like a plan. Hi, Sadie. What are we doing now?
Filling up with fuel, film lady.
Camera gal.
Camera gal. Filling everything up with cheap fuel so we can fill up again.
Yeah.
Sadie thinks that sounds like a good plan. Where are we going?
To get the sprayer.
Oh.
Back there.
How did I get it?
First sign on the door with your name, and then pull the button.
Got it.
Nice and warm in here.
Now what are we doing?
Spraying. Going to the field.
Let's go. This is Maria, West Farms Associate, and we are getting ready to spray fairy dust on the field, and it will scare away the weeds, right?
Something like that. You're in charge of quality control, right?
Oh yeah,
All right, we got this.
go time.
Ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
You were born ready?
I was born ready. Let's go.
You know what? It doesn't work when you don't turn your pump on.
I was wondering where the magical fairy dust was. I don't know if I got the post, but he may or may not have hit the post with the boom.
I never do that.
Just a little love tap. Nothing too serious.
All right,
Round
take 2.
2.
Now we're cooking.
We are cooking. There is the magical fairy dust. Right there's the pole we almost hit. Oh wait.
It's a yellow paint line on it.
We did hit it.
So, I didn't get quite enough filming done today, so we're just gonna roll this video into tomorrow because we're done for the day after we spray this.
We are.
So, any last thoughts?
I think we did a really good job, especially me.
All right. I'd like to thank my sponsors.
Me.
Maria Incorporated. All right, it's the next day. I'm just working the last field of corn that we're gonna plant. Dad's planting down the road. I gotta get this worked. There's 15 acres here, and then I'm gonna take this tractor over and get that neighbor's Salford that we use. I'm gonna work a little bit of corn stalks with that. Then we're gonna plant the beans, and we are going to try, really try to start planting beans later, because they're calling for like 2 inches of rain on Thursday. It's Tuesday now. We got 300 acres of beans to plant. Probably won't get it done before then, but we want to get as much as we can. I'm really wanting to get started planting beans. All right, we're done working ground with the field cultivator. We're gonna drop it here, and the neighbor's just right down the road where I can go get that Salford. Got the Salford hooked up. I'm just gonna park this over here at a farm, and then I'm gonna go over to Grandpa's and finish getting the bean planter ready. I think that would be a more wise use of my time than working this, so I'll probably get the bean planter ready, and then I don't know if I'll start planting beans or go start working that piece with the Salford. So I gotta make a decision, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so I got the planter pretty much buttoned up. All I got left is to check the tires. I got it greased. I'm going to put some soybean boxes on the seed tender real quick. Hopefully we can get that thing rolling here in a little bit. Well, I got the seed tender loaded. Probably ought to move it. Dad's planting corn in this field. I was going to park the seed tender here in the field that we're going to be starting in, but I might be in his way a little bit, so I'm going to back it up just a skosh. And then I'm going to go hop in the 9410 and go work that other field. So that, pay attention to what I'm doing here. So the field that I'm going to work, it's a little bit of a wetter piece, and it's a little bit heavier, so it's kind of damp down in the bottom ground, and we got this rain that they're forecasting towards the end of the week. So I want to hit it with that vertical tillage machine and kind of dry it out a little bit before we plant the beans, give them a little bit of a head start. Dad's working on planting our last field of corn for 2020, except for the little piece at the township, which I don't really count. We made it to the field, just getting unfolded here. This is standing corn stalks, so I lowered it a ½ inch. I don't know, I was going pretty shallow over here on the bean stubble when I used this thing last time, and I think it'll just do a little bit better job going a little deeper. So we can get started here and see what we got. 9.7 miles per hour doesn't sound very fast, but when you're in a tractor 30 feet wide, it's pretty fast. So this part of the field was chiseled last fall. I leveled it off with the field cultivator, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. It's kind of rough and chunky, so I went over this part of it with this Salford, and it really broke up the chunks a lot. Some of this ground's pretty heavy. It's pretty sandy where we're at now, so it's not too bad, but we're just about done in this field. I just got to hit the end rows, and then we're going to take this back to Grandpa's. I should probably clean it up a little bit before I bring it back, and then hopefully get in the bean planter and get a little bit of beans planted today. Just got the field done. I'm going to show you guys what kind of job this thing did. It really did a nice job where the stalks weren't so heavy. Where the stalks were a little heavier, it didn't do as good a job, but still not bad. It really chopped up the residue nicely. You can see, I think this will be a lot better seed bed for the soybeans than it would be just no-tilling them. But I got to get moving, got to get this thing back and get in the bean planter and get that thing rolling. It is so nice that we don't have to worry about this thing losing prime in the fuel system anymore. Really glad we got that fixed. Got the planter filled up, we're gonna get started here. There was one little issue with the planter that I forgot to look into. There's a chain tensioner on the side that keeps the drive chains tight, and we noticed it got bent last year, so it kept drawing the chain off, and we forgot to look into that. So we kind of tried to mess with it a little bit, got it a little better. Hopefully that doesn't cause me any problems today. Started. Monitor says they're all planting, so that's a good sign. Well, this is the first time in a really long time that we've planted soybeans and corn at the same time. We used to have, way back when, we had a drill and a planter, so we would drill soybeans, plant corn. Give me a second. For a number of years, we just had this Kinsey planter that I'm using right now, and we would plant all the corn. I'm trying to get turned around here. I really need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Anyways, we would plant all the corn with this Kinsey, and then when we got done, we would start planting beans, which is fine on a year like this. It wouldn't be a big deal. But in years like last year, where we were really crunched for time, it would have been nice to be able to plant both at the same time when we just didn't have a whole lot of days. So yeah, pretty cool, planting corn and beans at the same time. There's Dad over there. He said he's got one round or one pass left, and he's trying to get the planter empty so we can go do that little field at the township. We put another little sweet corn patch in there, so he's trying to get the planter empty. So after this, we'll be done with our corn. So pretty cool. That's what I'm used to for a planter monitor. It tells you average population and if each row is planting. And I guess it'll tell you spacing, but it's not very accurate. The 2020 and the new corn planter, that thing is leaps and bounds ahead of this thing. But for beans, it's not as critical to have perfect spacing and perfect population, so it's good enough for beans. It's been a while since we had this tractor on this planter too. When we first got this Kinsey planter, the 8400 was the planter tractor, and we ran it like that for 2 or 3 years, and then we got the 8430. So it works great on this planter. It handles it fine. The only issue is we have ATU for the auto steer, which like it bolts onto the steering wheel and physically turns the steering wheel, and it's kind of a pain to turn around at the ends. You have to like almost break the steering wheel off to get it to kick out. I mean, not literally, but you have to pull on it really hard to get it to kick out. And when you're turning into your line, you got to be pretty square, otherwise it won't pick up like the integrated system that's in the 8430 or the 9410. So let me clear something up. This auto steer is still way better than driving and using the markers, so I just want to clear that up. I just got out. I had one box run out of beans. This is, okay, this is not the side that was broken. This looks like it's loose. I'm gonna have to fix that real quick. But the other side this is bent. So it's not a huge deal if that chain pops off because there's 2 drive wheels for each side of the planter. So if one pops off, the other one should keep driving it. So I got the boxes filled back up. I just want to make sure, yes. So this side, this arm is bent. We messed with it a little bit and it hasn't popped off yet, but looks like that side I'm gonna have to do a little work to. And also, I noticed I'm dragging this harness. So I'm gonna have to fish this through. This is a harness for the smart boxes, which are insecticide. We used to use insecticide when we planted corn with this, and when I took the starter fertilizer system off this planter, that harness must have fell down and I didn't see it. So I'm gonna have to tie that up out of the way. Probably ruin that cable, but we don't use those smart boxes anymore anyway. That's up out of the way for now. I'm gonna see if I can get this chain on enough just to get by till I get to the end. I can get some tools to fix it. Got it snugged up with my pliers, but when I get to the end, hopefully that'll make it. I'll grab some wrenches and actually tighten it the way it's supposed to be. I made it to the end here. Looks like the chain stayed on. I'm gonna grab some wrenches, tighten that. I also need some seed, so we're gonna fill up while we're here. That's better. Got all the boxes full. Now I just got to put a little bit of graphite in each one. That just helps keep the meters lubricated and keeps the seed flowing well. Then we can go finish this field. Well, I'm on my last round and I had a box run out. We try to keep this planter light when we know we're about to move. Otherwise, I would have filled it up all the way, but I can't remember which one it was that ran out. That one's not it. Not that one either. I found it. It was number 3 in the back. I thought it was number 4 in the front for some weird reason. Got all our boxes enough to get to the end and back, so I'll finish this up real quick. That one done. We got 60 acres of beans planted. I'm just going to take this planter over to the next field for tomorrow, and we're going to plant some more beans tomorrow. So, a lot going on in this video. We had a pretty decent couple days. We didn't get a whole lot done, but we did finish up corn and got a good start on beans. So, everything's looking good for spring 2020. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.